Welcome back to Eastside FM, and welcome to Something Else, your weekly guide to alternative arts. I'm Charlotte Karp, in the Sydney Underground Film Festival with the hilarious Sexually Frank. Welcome to Something Else, Frankie Frayne and Keith Static.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So the film opens tomorrow. How excited are we?
So excited that we traveled across the planet to
That's
come here.
pretty exciting.
Proving that I will literally go anywhere to be with an audience that's watching my movie. So no, we're thrilled. We shot this movie 2 years ago, in 2010, the summer of 2010, and then I edited for a full year. Really spent a lot of time with the footage, went back and did a lot of reshoots and really kind of honed in. This is a very personal story for me. Anybody who goes to sexuallyfrank.com and reads some of the stuff we have to write there and some of the blogs, the video blogs we put up knows it's kind of a very personal story. So to have kind of, submitting to Sydney Underground, I thought it was a complete shot in the dark, just like chucking it across the planet and seeing if it stuck, and then to get accepted was amazing, and they've been nothing but awesome to us, so we ran right out here.
Yeah, awesome. Just as long as it's all documented, then it's kind of like your legacy to Sydney.
Yeah, very much so, yeah. And we'd come back happily, too. They've just been so cool.
Yeah, so can you give us a bit of a rundown of what the film is about?
Yeah, so it's called Sexually Frank, and everybody's like, is it a porn? It's not. It's a comedy. It's about relationships, but it sort of uses sex as the framework by which we see these characters. So it's an ensemble piece, actually. I play kind of. I hesitate to call it the main character, but sort of the arbitrator, the central character.
Frank?
Who is Frank? Yeah, which is kind of I'm Frankie and he's Frank. So there's a fictionalized version of myself. He also makes films, viral videos, and he's making one particularly lewd film that you'll that you'll see. That I believe the production still that they put up on the Sydney Underground website tells the whole story. So that's kind of my thing, and trying to work it out with the actress that has to do that act in the movie, and whether or not she wants to do it for comedic reasons or if she's worried about the way she's going to come off. So that's that story. Then we have Keith Static here to my left, who plays a 24-year-old virgin. He's a childhood friend of mine, very much like in real life. A lot of people ask us, how autobiographical is this movie? And while it's not moment to moment explicitly autobiographical, it is definitely emotionally and relationally autobiographical. Keith and I have known each other since we were 6, and he was going through a sexual deficit at the time. Since recovered from that deficit, but
after the age of 6.
Yeah, sorry, I guess I put those two things too close in the same sentence. So his character is kind of dealing with, as he's getting older and as time is going on with no sex, he's starting to wonder about, like, am I the creepy guy in the office? And so we kind of investigate some of those ideas of sexual perversion, and he has a coworker that also makes viral videos that turns out to be I'm not going to give it away. You have to go tomorrow night at the Boiler Cinema, the Boiler Room
at the Factory Theatre.
Yes, and then thirdly we have a male gay couple who it's really just the story of a breakup, but I wanted to. Unlike the other storylines, which are kind of offbeat and subversive and really appropriate for Sydney Underground, I really wanted to just tell a straightforward story because I never ever see that in mainstream movies, and even in gay cinema. Typically, what I normally see is kind of an overcompensated look at it, or it's hard to describe what I'm saying, but basically, the best way to put it is we reveal that one of the characters is gay 2 scenes in after you've already met him. So we don't. It's not what we lead with. It's trying to naturalize.
That's not the storyline. That's just another point.
It's an attribute, not a defining quality.
Yeah.
So that was. I've never seen. I really haven't seen that in a movie before. So that's
they usually do make it a bit of a cliffhanger, do they? And they make you wonder. And
they walk in and he's the gay character.
Yeah,
that's what he is.
Yeah.
The gay character.
Yeah.
And that's not what we do in this movie. So
or it's about coming out or something.
Yeah. Exactly. So those are the storylines, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's an ensemble comedy, and it's really funny. The reaction I keep getting, and it's so fun for me. So I ended up doing this actually I submitted it as a thesis film for an MFA back in the States, But what was really fun was people kept expecting that we were doing like a really subversive, crazy, is this guy going to turn into porn for his thesis? And what they ended up getting was a really sweet movie about how much I love my friends and how much I love who they are. And to set them up for that initial expectation and then for them to walk out knowing now that it's actually just a sweet movie about relationships has been really gratifying.
Yeah. Well, so just in what you were saying, the film is predominantly about sex. Yep. So how has it been received in previous screenings? Have you had any turbulent responses, or
no? Because again, it's trying to take the audience on this journey to normalize it a bit.
I mean, just because there is a couple of points where it gets a bit graphic, you could say, or
yeah. So you're talking about the viral video that my character's
that
making?
One.
So the thing there is, it's not like this is a movie. So I'm gonna go ahead and spoil it because you're gonna see it on. So warning, it's slightly graphic. This character, he wants to make this comedy piece, a video comedy piece for the internet, in which he puts his toe in a prostitute's butt.
Yeah.
But the thing is it's just absurdist comedy that he's trying to make. That's not like what our film's about. Our movie is about him wanting to make that movie. And why would he want to make that movie? And it's about, even though it's this absurd, stupid, indefensible thing, it still really matters to him. And that was actually, that's kind of my story. I've made, I came from the school of, if anybody's familiar with Trauma Entertainment, they made like The Toxic Avenger and Class of Nukem High, all these B movies in the 80s. And that's when I first started getting interested in filmmaking, where it was like, wait a minute, this counts? I can make something that ridiculous and it counts as art? And that kind of opens doors for me. And even though I didn't take my initial film's content seriously, I took the effort of making it and the importance of completing it very seriously. And that's what Frank's story is there. The toe and the butt thing is really just more about, is the actress willing to do it and under what context? The actress that's in the movie says, well, it sounds really funny. I want to break out. All my parts are always, I'm very pretty. I don't want to do pretty parts. I want to do something crazy. I want to do something stupid, something that's going to be against type. And so she does it. But when the comedy video, ends up on porn sites, and suddenly now she's fetishized, that changes her perception of herself. And that's kind of what we use that as a gateway to talk about some social media issues too. If you post yourself on Facebook, for instance, can you control the way you're perceived? If you
it's
are
there forever, isn't it?
Yeah, if you are perceived sexually, even though you posted something completely innocent, can you control that? Should you be angry at yourself about that? The movie says no, you shouldn't, because you can't control the way people perceive you. So yeah. Yeah, so it's not that I think that's why people aren't storming me with pitchforks and torches, is because it's not
actually that offensive.
It's not trying to just slap you in the face just for shock. It's we're actually trying to say some stuff with this movie.
Yeah.
And it's the first time I've really done that. In the past, the movie I made before this was called Abo the Human Monkey. I have a Blu-ray of it right here. It was about a half man, half ape. I think it's very funny, and Keith helped me write it.
Yes.
But yeah, it's just completely gross and hilarious and stupid. And this movie is kind of about something much more than that.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go to a break, but stay tuned for more with Sydney Underground Film Festival participants Frankie Frayne and Keith Static. For more information on how to win tickets to Sexually Frank at the Factory Theatre tomorrow night, actually, I'm just going to tell you now. So, during this song, if you call 933-13000, it's 933-13000, during this song, you will have a chance to win one of the double passes tomorrow night. So, this is a song by Dusty Springfield. Welcome back to 89.7 Eastside FM. You're listening to Something Else, where we're chatting to Sexually Frank creators Frankie Frayne and Keith Static. So the competition, the ticket giveaways. You also get a chance to win them during the next song and probably the song after that. So the number is 93313000.
And you're crazy if you don't call in and try to get these tickets, because I'm going to be there. And I literally came across the planet. So you can ask me questions like, what the hell were you thinking? Or you can ask me anything.
Exactly. And they're free, guys.
Come on.
Double passes. You can bring your mother.
And please do. It's really a mother-friendly film.
It sounds it. So, Keith,
Yes.
You play an integral part of this film. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I do. I play one of the main characters named Neil, and as we learned, he's very much based on myself. Like most of the characters in Sexually Frank, they all tend to be based on versions of people that Frankie knows and has been friends with his entire life.
At least my version of them.
At least exaggerated versions, but with a truthful core to them.
Pitch perfect. Pitch perfect.
Pitch perfect, yes. So, I'm not much of a performer. I'm not an actor at all. So when Frankie asked me to be in this movie, first thing I said was no. But if you can't find anybody else, I'll do it for you.
So he
didn't look for anyone else.
No. This is the Keith Sadek way, by the way. You gotta drag him kicking and screaming. Keith's not an actor. Keith's not only not an actor, he's not a filmmaker. He's helped me
I'm
write.
not an entertainer. I'm a computer programmer.
Yeah, he does not do this. And so there's nothing I would love more than to try to make him internationally somewhat famous. Because he's really the most unlikely character. But you're going to, no word of a lie. It's, as far as whether or not it's a good movie, that's for somebody else to say, not me. But what I will say unabashedly is he puts forth an incredibly sympathetic and honest performance in this movie, more so than I ever expected. When I first wrote the character, it was like, this obviously is Keith. He's got the same voice as Keith. I really can't imagine anybody else performing it, and maybe that's just because I'm a bad director. But when I asked him to start reading the lines, I was like, yeah, that's about it. And we started kind of sitting down and going through, not giving him line readings, because that's exactly what you don't do. Say it like this. No, this came from Keith. So it was really trying to, together understand why I wrote it that way, and he would help adjust that and kind of make it his own a little bit too.
I was really nervous before every the night before every shoot. I'd hang out with Frankie and I would just read the lines and be like, "Is this okay? Did I do it right?"
I would mostly just crack up at everything.
Yeah, he'd crack up and I'd be laughing. And
well, it's a version of you, isn't it? It's based on you.
I was surprised that he really liked the performance, because I thought I did a horrible job. I don't actually like watching myself on the screen, but
nobody does.
Yeah,
he thinks that anyone who's ever enjoyed this performance is just being nice to him. There are many people who've seen this movie by this point.
It's true. But most of the people that I've talked to, they know me.
They're like, who is that fine bald actor in the film? Because no, he really does. I don't know if it's just kind of Keith obviously has a very soft side to him, but he also has a very sympathetic side to him. That's the core of the movie. He ends up having kind of the most important plot, the one that's kind of the most life changing. And
it's the 24-year-old virgin.
Yeah. This is the 24-year-old virgin character, that we discussed a little earlier. And it's really with Keith's kind of manner of being and his nature that makes you feel for him. Every review I've ever read, from Film Threat to a lot of other film blogs, all the way up to there's a Sydney publication recently, an Online Universe, I think it was, and they all said, I really enjoyed that guy, that sympathetic guy. He was just so damn sad, and it's really something to check out. And this is from a guy who not only doesn't perform, doesn't want to perform. So this may be the only time you see him.
I didn't want to at first, but it became really fun towards the end of it, when you kind of knew what you were doing and just understood the character. And the character was easy. It was just like, Keith, please just be yourself.
And you'd been around since the first movie. This is our third feature.
Yeah, this is the third feature. I've been helping Frank with all of his projects since early high school.
It started with hey, could you hold this boom mic because nobody else will? And then it was hey, you're kind of funny. Can you help me write this? And finally, it's could you just star in it?
And every time I said no, and they did it.
It's he's graduating from film school without even wanting to.
And Keith will become the Hollywood actor, and
exactly.
You'll still be the struggling.
And then I'll forget about Frankie.
Yeah, it won't matter.
The little people.
The little, yes.
What I have to say, one of my favorite moments on the shoot was, it was one of the first days. First day, you never know that's when the tone is sort of set, not just for the film itself, but also for the film shoot. How is everybody really, when push comes to shove, going to interact with one another? How's the cinematographer going to act with the actors and whatnot? And very quickly, the actors kind of pair off because they're waiting on us to get our stuff together. And so we had some stage actors, some film actors, people from Boston, people who are non-union, some people who are union, and and suddenly Keith is kind of gravitating over to them. And suddenly the guy who was my boom pole operator, or my catch-all drawer, is suddenly one of the beautiful people. And they were like, "Well, where did you study, Keith?"
Well, yeah, it was kind of awkward. I was trying to be social with everyone, and I'm kind of I'm not going to say antisocial, but I don't seek to talk to the people I don't know because I'm awkward in conversations. But in any case,
let's put this guy on the radio.
Yeah, exactly, right? No, but in any case,
Doing a good job.
what is your inspiration? When did you start getting into film? I'm like, I don't know.
Please don't talk to me.
It was
I'm
kind
just
of
a
fun.
sad man.
But I do remember that day. That was kind of fun.
Yeah.
So, you chose to use a couple of non-actors, and I read that you don't like guild actors.
Yeah. That's very true.
Because they want to be paid as well. Can you imagine that's a downside?
So it's not me.
Frankie doesn't want to give anything back to the people. Just
No, yeah,
You don't make anything.
I'm just this awful, evil sponge. No, no, it has very little to do with that piece of it. If we were in any way budgeted, which we're not, and I should just lie and say that we had a big budget so people will go watch the movie, because I really honestly think at this point people can't tell the difference between a $2,000 movie and a $100,000 movie. I think they're all kind of rated in the same pool, but yeah, no, literally we funded it on pocket change. It's just there was no Kickstarter here, there was no please grandma, it was just us. Why was I saying any of this? Non-actors, the guild actors. So one of the things that pops up a lot, especially I've been, with film students for a long time now. I went to Emerson College for undergrad, and then I got my MFA there as well. And one of, I think, the errors that's made is we need to kind of look like a bigger structure than we really are. Things that aren't necessarily going to show up on the screen. We need to at least look like a real movie. And one of those things is they think that money can somehow buy quality. And I believe that guild actors is a piece of this, where it's like, well, I suspect I'm going to have a difficult time finding a non-union person that can perform this. So if I can just find someone in a guild, that's how it'll be vetted. But the reality is, if you're in a guild and you're willing to sign a student waiver to say, yeah, I'll be in a non-union film, you probably just had a walk-on as like a featured extra in something that got you in the guild, and now you still need real footage. Meaning, no slight against that particular actor, but they're probably about as good as any non-union actor. And for me, I'm going to insult acting people here, but I think that the performance is just being comfortable. And at the end of the day, Keith is just comfortable with me. I don't think he would probably turn in a real crap performance with anybody else because he just doesn't know them. My wife is the main, is the female lead. She plays my girlfriend in the movie.
Yeah, I was going to.
And she's in the same boat as Keith. They just was like, if you want me to, if you really need me to. And she turns in an absolutely beautiful performance. I was shocked. I really didn't think she was gonna pull through on that. So yeah, I don't see the point in trying to put on big boy pants if you can't fit in them.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, how, I don't know, how experienced somebody is. It's whether they pull it off with confidence or not.
It's being result oriented. What is ultimately going to be on the screen? What is ultimately the film trying to say? And being less concerned about how big your craft services team is.
Yeah, exactly.
Which we don't even do lunches. I just feed them like dolphins. Just bite-sized Snickers. Just keep them going.
We're going to get another song, but you still have a chance to win the double tickets to go to Sexually Frank tomorrow night. The number is 9331 3000. This is Put the Lime in the Coconut. Welcome back to Something Else on 89.7 Eastside FM. I'm Charlotte and I'm talking to Frankie and Keith Sadek. And we're almost out of time, but just quickly, your production company, Red Cow Entertainment, has put together a couple of films before. Do they all kind of follow a particular theme? Are they all, I'm guessing they're all largely comedies?
Yeah. So they have been comedies up to this point, but we're kind of, you'll see in Sexually Frank the drama creeping in, and my age starting to creep in. And we started making these movies. The first feature we made in high school. It got acquired by Troma Entertainment, which was really cool. Which were the very company that kind of inspired us. But yeah, and then Abo, I talked about that already, the Half Man Half Ape movie. But this is where the drama's starting to creep in, and I have the next feature planned. I'm not going to write it myself. I'm working with a writer, and it's looking like it's going to be a lot more drama, a lot more sort of, the comedy is going to take a back seat, maybe play a little bit of a darker role. So each movie has, for me, tried to be a graduation of the next, and do the thing that I haven't done yet.
Well, we are out of time, but thank you very much for coming in. If you would like to see Sexually Frank, the trailer is on our blog, and the feature officially screens tomorrow night at 8:30 at the Factory Theatre in Marrickville, and it looks hysterical, and I would highly recommend it. You can also check out some of their stuff at redcowentertainment.com. If you'd like more information on Sydney Underground Film Festival, head to suff.com.au. It's worth every cent and runs until Sunday, so get in quick and get on it. In other arts news, Jurassic Lounge is in full swing at the Australian Museum. There's a different exhibition by a local emerging artist every Tuesday, so go along and support alternative arts in Sydney. Art Groupie is also on tonight at 6 p.m, but I'm sure you can still go, at District 1 Gallery, Oxford Street, with over 20 musicians exhibiting their art. And Funkified is also on this Saturday at the local tap house. It's a mixture of funk, hip-hop, soul, reggae, and much more. Kicks off at 4 p.m, goes through till 10. There's beer and there's free entry. Well, thank you again, guys. It's been lovely to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having us.
And good luck with film and everything in the future. I hope it goes really well.
Come see it, everybody, please.
Yes. We still have double passes, I think, to give away. Yep.
Right.
Ask me anything. What's that number again? 933?
9331-3000. If you would like to download the podcast of this or have a look at the blog post or whatever, go to www.somethingelse897fm.wordpress.com either tomorrow or on Saturday, maybe Sunday. Next week we have Matthias. I'm sure he's presenting a wonderful show. I don't know what it is, but it'll be fantastic. I'm Charlotte Karp. You're listening to Something Else on 89.7 Eastside FM. Next up is Tune with the Vinyl Frontier, and here to take you out is Hey Joe by Jimi Hendrix. Have a good night, everyone.